Now to dig into the final aspects of it, which is really my thoughts on how Pathfinder can be reworked. We're gonna just go through some ideas that I have as far as abilities. So for its passive, my first idea, I'm just calling it Life Sensor. It doesn't really matter what it's called, but Path and his teammates map pulses or changes colors when enemies are within a 21 meter radius of him. So about the distance of a grapple, and I think this is important because it allows him to get those recon abilities that the other recon characters have, where they can provide information for him. This first idea, I feel like it's very fair. It's not as strong as a Bloodhound scan, where you see someone, or a redeploy from Valk where you can see where people are, or Crypto Drone where you see where people are, because I feel like it doesn't necessarily. I don't know how you could include that in Pathfinder, but it's just something that allows him to get information. So if he's running forward somewhere and you're about to grapple, like if your map pulses or it changes colors, okay, I'm about to grapple into someone potentially. I might not know where they are, but I know they're within my grapple range distance. And I feel like that can give Pathfinder a better information. And maybe just to make this better, it could be different colors. The map could be like a different color depending on how many enemies. Like if it's one enemy, it could just be blue. If it's two enemies, it could be green. And if it's 3+ enemies, it could just be totally red. So now if I grapple here, or if I hard commit, there's a greater chance or greater possibility of me dying in this situation. And I think it's pretty fair. I think it's pretty balanced. My second idea in my opinion, I feel like it's OP as not OP as an ability, but I think it might be able to provide some equity to him versus the other characters that can, like Bloodhound, that can just scan for free. And it's just a UAV. So not necessarily a UAV, but similar to like COD or other shooter games where when someone fires, a dot will pop up on the mini map. So this will be where any enemy that fires a weapon in 30 meter radius will briefly show up on Pathfinder's and his teammates map for 2 seconds. So it could be, from a UI perspective, it could be very annoying if you're constantly seeing like red dots pop up on the map. But I feel like that can help Pathfinder figure out how to transverse. This is a little bit more OP in my opinion, because you have that, your teammates have that information, because if people are fighting, I feel like it can determine how you want to move. Like if you just see two dots firing, it doesn't mean that there's a third, but it could give you like, okay, maybe I should go up there. And I feel like that takes away from it being very oppressive, because you don't know all the information, versus with Bloodhound scan, if I just scan you, like if one person's not firing, I could see that, oh, they're healing, or they're setting up traps. Like I just have that information. There's nothing you can do about it. But with the UAV, you don't know who is firing. It could be any type of character, but it's just information for your teammate to use. And I feel like this will be strong and helpful for him to remain a recon character. Now we'll go into his ultimate ability. My first idea, which I think should just be included in the game anyway, is that Zipline can be taken down by Pathfinder at any moment. And the base of the zip on either side can receive damage. I say 200 HP. It sounds like a lot, but I feel like it needs to have some type of damage, some type of health, because if you just shot it with one triple take shot, I feel like, not well triple take shot, or one like vault shot for like 15, 16, whatever the damage is. Like, let's say you have your zip like on the wall, like, and it's not on the ground, like you could literally have your whole zip just destroyed, like off of like one little tap. So the amount of HP it has like, I'm definitely open to figuring out what would be a fair exchange, but I think that it should cause some type of damage. And I think that it will be valuable because now if I, as Pathfinder, if I take high ground or my team takes high ground and I can eliminate my zip, that gives us power to remain somewhere or to hold our positioning without worrying that someone will retake it from us. Because there's plenty of times where you might have a good spot on like King's Canyon or something, and you're on high ground, and there might be another team that you're fighting, and you go kill them real quick, you go knock them, and then when you turn back around, you see that somebody took your zip and now is holding your high ground for free. So I feel like this is something that should be included in the game, just because I think it will allow Pathfinder to allow him to have more flexibility in his zip placement. And my second idea doesn't have to be with the first one, but Pathfinder can grab his zip with his grapple, and he doesn't force him to ride the zip. It gives him flexibility in his movement, and it increases the usefulness of combat zip. So if you're in a situation where you use a combat zip, which is just a zip that's you're not using like the full length of it, you're not really using it to travel, you're just using it to kind of hop around or to use movement to help you make plays. I think that allowing him to like grapple can allow him to swing around or do different things, making the zip more useful and a lot less linear. Because when you grab zip now, you pretty much, you move forward a little bit, but then you immediately latch onto zip and then you start going forward. And I think if we remove that aspect, I think it can open up some really creative play for Pathfinder and what he can do with his zip line. I don't think it fixes zip and provides like a massive amount of utility to his team. I think so far what I named, really the idea 2 is really just for Pathfinder to just get more out of his zip line himself personally, and I think idea 1 might be better. I feel like honestly combining the 2 might be a great way to make Pathfinder's zip just overall better. Now his tactical. This is a very, very, very different idea, and I'm not sure how this would fully work out from a developer standpoint, but my first idea is that there's a grapple. Instead of a grapple hook, he has a grapple pole, and it pretty much just it roots something in the ground that allows Pathfinder to use it as a hook and use it as a like a staple for him to like hook onto and launch for himself, and his teammates can use it and other people. So it's almost like a swing. So he will place it down and he can use it to launch himself, and his teammates can use it to launch it as well. It's like a mini, like almost like a mini zip without the linearness of it. Because if a situation happens where someone is low, right? We'll take the example of an Octane pad. If we get somebody low or we knock somebody, Octane can throw a pad and all two of the whole team can take the pad and launch onto it. Versus with, and even though I know that's Octane's alt, I think with having some type of like pole or something that can allow Pathfinder's movement to be linked with his team can make those situations where it's not so high risk, high reward, where if there is an opening created, we can use the pole as a team to help us reposition together quickly. You don't go as far as zip, but you can travel with your team. So now you're not putting yourself in a situation where at the best, it could be at the best, you knock everyone, or at the worst, you get knocked and now they're up, or there's a 50-50 because it's 2v2 because you got knocked after knocking the person you got low. I think it should get destroyed after 10 seconds. Even 7, maybe 7 could be a better number, and other people can use it. as well. But after the seconds, it gets destroyed. The 7 seconds, it gets destroyed. My second idea, which I think will probably be more probable, which I feel like from a developer standpoint could be more useful, is that Pathfinder receives a sprint and walk speed increase 3 seconds after grappling. And when I say 3 seconds after grappling, I mean like once he initially lands, like immediately as soon as he makes contact with an object, um, there his speed on top of not on top of the movement that grapple makes, but his walk or sprint speed can allow him to continue to travel fast. And I think this is important for him because in some situations that I mentioned before where it's high risk, high reward, let's say you do grapple and then you do have two people shooting, two people aiming a shotgun at you, one of their teammates that's low is trying to put on a bat. If you knock them and you still are within that 3 second window of you landing from your grapple, that sprint or walk speed could potentially help you reposition to cover and mitigate some of that hard risk that you take from making that aggressive play. So it's almost like you're rewarding Pathfinder for using his grapple. Or if he is running and he grapples away and he does a long grapple, that extra 3 seconds can allow him to get away, because the biggest thing that is a offset, not an offset, but a downer for grapple is that if, let's say you're being chased and you decide to grapple, one, there's a certain amount of time that it takes before, grapple actually hits the ground and you're launching, but you can get damaged all throughout that process. And I've had plenty of times where, I might be 1v3ing or 1v2ing or whatever is happening, and I'm trying to get away, and I'll be close to getting away, but after the momentum from the grapple is gone, I'm just a sitting duck, and I might get beamed. And all it would have took is maybe a little bit more like movement speed. It could help me escape, and I feel like that can be important, because right now Octane is a damage character, but his movement speed allows him to make escapes like that. Or with Wraith, if she phases, she gains some type of movement speed, and just that little bit of like movement speed can allow her to get away. Same with Bangalore, like her when she gets shot at, she has some speed, and that can allow her to reposition to get to cover and save herself if she is making an aggressive play. And I think this is a perfect segue into why I feel like Pathfinder should possibly shift into a damage category, or similar to like Wraith or Octane or Bangalore, or possibly be a new category of hybrid, which is a cross between recon and damage. And the reason why I say this is because Pathfinder really doesn't get too much utility from being a passive character. He gets utility from being a passive character when he's only playing a sniper, and being a sniper is highly map dependent and also meta dependent, because at a certain point in the game, you're going to have to take close range fights. And the way people have been playing so deathball-y, you just have someone hit Bloodhound Scan and you get rushed. And then you get rushed and you have all these shotguns in your face. So sniper is not really going to, help you. Or, Octane Revenant, and they just pat on you. A sniper, you might get one snipe shot with the speed of how fast people travel through with Octane pad. You might be able to hit them one time if they're trying to like rush you, and that is scope dependent as well. Most people have like some type of like scope on it, so after a certain range, it's going to be really, really hard to hit him. And I think not passive, Pathfinder gets the most utility when he's played aggressively, but he's so punishable, like he's so easily punishable that it almost is not worth it. Like you kind of have to always put yourself at risk in order to make plays, and grapple cannot save you the way other abilities can, where if something is happening and you're getting shot at as Bangalore, you have speed to help you get away. it's not going to take you as far as a grapple, but it can help you get behind cover. You have smoke, which is going to make it harder. You visually can't see unless somebody scans you or something. Gib, like if he's in a situation where he's getting punished, he can throw down his dome. Rampart, she has her shields, but it can get shot. It can get shot down. Wraith has phase. Octane has pad or stem. He can use that to get away. Bloodhound, if he ults, he's faster. His movement is faster. He can scan to see where he's getting chased from. And Loba, her Q, like once she Qs, like actually commits to it, you can't shoot her in it. You just have to try to catch her at the beginning or at the end, and they've made some improvement. So when she does land, it's not as laggy. And I think that for Pathfinder, for you to really get rewarded for his kit, you have to be aggressive, and being aggressive is highly punishable compared to Wraith. Like you can be extra aggro and then just queue out, and you're queuing for free. No one can damage you in it. You're straight. All the other characters can get damaged, but I feel like for Pathfinder, like his playstyle has to be his aggressive playstyle has to be rewarded in order for him to get utility, because scanning for map or ring, or where the ring is going to be at is cool, but all the other characters can do that and also get more utility than him. And that really kind of sums up my final thoughts on Pathfinder. And I think he's a fun character to play. I believe that his utility lacks an edge versus the other recon characters. Zipline, 100%. You need to allow it to be taken down, because shoot, that can even turn into plays like where you might allow someone to take your zip, and then you just immediately just take it down, and now they fall and they're in a bad position. I think it opens up opportunities for plays, and it opens up an opportunity to make him a safe character versus like with a portal. Like granted, other people can take the portal and they can get it for free, but portal doesn't last forever, and it's something that will eventually go away. It does have a short distance, which I think they probably should increase it again, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Wraith. And when it comes to Pathfinder, like having other people take your zip is not necessarily the best thing for your team, depending on the situation. And I think when it comes to like movement and what Zipline does, I feel like it's easily replaced by Octane Pad, and it's so much safer. You'll get Octane Pad and you can just launch. You have control over the direction of where you launch. You have control over the height versus Pathfinder, as soon as you place your zip, that's just it. Like you can't take it down and get it back. You can't move it. You can't change how you go across it. You're just in a you just literally move up it and move up or down or forward back in a linear fashion, and that's it. And you can do what Pathfinder does. The whole team can with Octane. So I think his kit definitely needs some reworks. His passive mode, at the minimum, like his passive needs to change, because scanning to reduce cooldown, like that is nothing. Scanning to reduce cooldown on an already fast ultimate is nothing. It is nothing. It is like being handed some applesauce that's already been eating. It is like eating a cheese sandwich with mayo. It is nothing. It does nothing. It is marginal. It is marginal. And depending on where you land at, or depending on how competitive the match is, you're not going to get a lot of scans to even really get something out of that. And then also, if there's, I don't know if every team has a Pathfinder, that rarely ever happens, but what are you guys going to do? Fight for scan? And then that's just what is the point of fighting? What is the point of fighting for scan if it's supposed to be passive for him? Like, you have to expose yourself to use a passive. I feel like that's not fair for Pathfinder and his kit. Still think he's fun to use. He can do a lot of things, but that's my thoughts. To sum it up again, I'll go back up and just pop these Johns out, and I will most likely create a link so people can view this and see this mind map of why I believe that Pathfinder needs a rework or a possible reposition in what Slot Daddy is as a character.